कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन लजन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन रामनतिरावनचारी रामनतिरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग गोविंदा हरि गोविंदा वेंकटरमण गोविंदा श्रीनिवास गोविंदा श्री वेंकटेश गोविंदा प्रभुपद संकीर्तन की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, अंतराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, गौर प्रेमानंदी। ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a verse which says, the spiritual world is a substance and material world is shadow. You know, there is a vision that Veda Vyasa got when he was ordered by Narada to observe the absolute truth from the vantage point of Bhakti Yoga, from the perspective of Bhakti. And there's one verse which says, Bhakti Yogena Manasi Samyak Pranihite Amale Apashyan Purusham Purnam Mayam Chatadapashrayam. This verse says, when Vedavyas saw Krishna, Krishna was standing and next to him Mayadevi was also standing. But Mayadevi was completely under the control of Krishna. And Krishna appeared like the real Vastava Vastu, and Maya appeared as a shadow. So, in many places you will find this Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga. What that was? Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Reka Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga. So there are two meanings you can derive out of that. One is, for example, you know, if I do like this, you can see this, what it looks like? Huh? Deer. See? Now when I move my fingers like this, you know, the deer also moves. You can see that? So, you know, so when you move the original hand, the shadow moves accordingly. Similarly, Durga Devi is completely subservient to Krishna. When he orders, that's what she will do. She'll be obedient to him. She will not do anything independent of him. That's one meaning of saying shadow. Another meaning of talking about the shadow is shadow cannot exist. Right now you see there is no deer because the original object is taken away. But only when there is the original object, then only then there can be shadow. Shadow doesn't have any separate existence. Its existence depends on the existence of the original object. So, therefore, in this world, for example, if you walk on the road and you see a Mrigatrishna, or they call it as a mirage, you rush there thinking that there is some stream of water, I will take a bath, but there is only sand there, dry, hot sand. Due to the effect of the sun on land, it produces some appearance of a lake there. But nearby you go, there is no lake there. But that doesn't mean there is no lake at all. The appearance of an illusory lake, which is mirage, indicates to you that there is somewhere else fresh cooling waters of original lake available. Correct, no? You will always see that. Like in our school days, we used to have this, 1,000 rupee note, 500 rupee note sold in the shop for 10 paisa. You know that? They sell different notes you can choose and buy. Children used to buy and stock them. Correct, no? But you know what the notes are? Are they valuable? No, they're just fake notes sold in the shop. I think they're allowed to print, I think, like that. It's not like printing, Reserve Bank of India printing a note. And this is just for children. They buy, they make and they sell it. It's a fake note. But a fake note indicates that there must be a real currency note. The fake note gives a clue that there must be real currency note. Similarly, you go to people's homes, they have this kind of showcase in which they keep many flowers and many fruits also. Correct now? They keep bunch of grapes, mangoes, apples, and they have flowers also, which are kept in the showcase, which they never change. It just remains. Once in a while, they may just clean it and keep it, I think. But that indicates that there must be real grapes, there must be real mangoes, there must be real flowers. So the artificial flowers indicate that there must be real flowers. Artificial mangoes indicate there must be real mangoes. So similarly, in this world, we all have a very strong propensity for chasing after the pleasures of the world. Like, you want pleasurable experience, but you don't want painful experience at all. Like you will see that, if I ask you, do you want a pinprick or a pinch? What would you say? Probably neither. Instead, give me a vati of gulab jamun. That will be more enjoyable. Because you prefer pleasure and you want to nullify pain completely. You can see that. So, therefore, you can see we are by nature pleasure seeking. But in this world, the pleasure is punctuated by pain. You will see that. The pleasure is not continuous. Any pleasure you take. Recently, I was traveling in the train. I was sitting at the top. One old man was making noise and crying, and his son was shouting at him. I thought in villages generally the sons are very respectful to father. Why is he shouting? I saw all the people, the son, the daughter, and the grandchildren, all of them. They were all sitting and eating samosa. That was being sold in the train. So this old man was lying covered with a blanket. But he saw them eating samosa. He got the smell. Conditioned soul is very attentive. Immediately the old man got up and said, "Hey, get me also 2 samosas." Yeah. The son said, "See, doctor has told you not to eat any oil item. If you eat, then we have to spend for the money for the doctor. For the doctor we have to spend. You are an old man, you are already 75. You can't eat all these things." So he purchased kela for him and gave him. Tum kela kao. And they are all eating. So the old man is screaming, crying, "Beta, how can I be so disobedient to you?" I thought a son is disobedient. Son is not disobedient. The father is greedy. Correct, no? So you can see eating samosa is a very delightful experience. It's such a nice item. It is nicely covered and fried, crispy, and also stuffed with nice potato and all those things. Very delicious. Sometimes you feel like eating up a dozen samosas, but of course eating too much also is not very good. So you will see that while eating it's very delightful, but once it goes into belly it creates problems. Correct, no? But the old man would want to eat the samosa without having the painful experience, right? Correct, no? But that's not possible in this world. No? You see that you have been eating samosa as a young boy. Now when you grow old, you will have to renounce it. If you don't renounce, you will be in trouble. Correct, no? Therefore, Shastras teach from beginning only learn discipline. Eat moderate food. And be able to accept things which are good for you, which are not good for you, you will have to renounce. Either you are detached and you are happy. If you are not detached, you indulge and you suffer. Correct, no? That's the way the material world is. But in spiritual world, you don't have to be detached. You can eat as much as you want and no sickness will come. That is spiritual world. Spiritual world, there is unlimited supply of milk. Just now you saw the video. There is unlimited supply of milk given by the cows. Unlike the material world where the cows have limited supply, 10 liters, 15 liters, 20 liters max. In spiritual world, the cows give unlimited supply of milk all day, every day. Fruits also, the fruit bearing trees, Prabhupada says in the material world, the trees are not so conscious, he says. Like you go to a plantain tree, banana tree. You ask for a banana, it will give you a banana. You ask for a mango, it will give you a banana only. Why? Because it can give only one type of fruit. That is the limitation of the material trees in the material world. Like for example, neem tree only keeps on giving you neem. Whereas in spiritual world, any kalpavruksha tree can give you any fruit you want. That is a kind of versatility they have. Spiritual world. Similarly, there are also living beings in spiritual world. None of them are ugly. None of them are stupid. None of them are idiotic. None of them have any type of deficiencies in their figure, in their form, or in their qualities, or in their behavior. There is nobody who is, arrogant. There is nobody who is proud. There is nobody ugly looking. In the material world, you see many ugly ducklings. The spiritual world is nobody ugly. Nobody stupid. Nobody commits mistakes. Nobody commits any errors at all in the spiritual world. Because the living beings are completely spotlessly pure in the spiritual world. That's why it's a Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyamanam. The Lakshmis are goddesses of fortune are moving hither and thither there with their ankle bells making sounds. They all are extremely beautiful. Their bodies are compared to lightning. And the Vishnu Duta's bodies are compared to the clouds. Because if we see the clouds, they are bluish. And the Lakshmis are compared to lightning. The women are compared to lightning. Men are compared to bluish clouds. Sometimes you see the lightning appearing in the cloud, correct, no? Like that Vishnu Dutas and their wives, when they are traveling in airplanes, that's how they look like in the spiritual world. And both are spotlessly pure. Although men are handsome, women are beautiful, they are not attracted to each other. They are attracted to Supreme Lord. In the material world, even ugly people are attracted to each other. You will see that. Prabhupada says a man may have ugly wife, but he is mad after her because when they interact regularly, the attachment develops. So even a crow thinks my child is the most beautiful child in the world. But anybody else sees it may not be so beautiful. So in the spiritual world, everyone is actually beautiful, spotlessly beautiful, but they are not mutually attracted by that bodily beauty, nor are they infatuated. They are only attracted to loving the Supreme Lord and serving Supreme Lord. Actually, in ISKCON, you will see that there are many youngsters, men and women, who have very healthy bodies and handsome bodies and beautiful. But in young age, they are very seriously engaged in Krishna consciousness. How many of you observed that? You observed it? In ISKCON, you observed it? You will see that. Yeah. Even in young age, they are not attracted to sense gratification. They are rising early in the morning, they are chanting 16 rounds, they are following for relative principles. And they are also going to the temple and entering varieties of services. So, I know one family currently in Austin, Texas. He's one Satyasar Prabhu. So this devotee, earlier he was in Microsoft in Seattle. So 17 years he was doing vigorous preaching in Microsoft. More than 45 boys got initiated there, families. So, and then his spiritual master told him that now you do some university preaching. Then he moved to Texas. Because in Texas there are a lot of advantages. I heard it's a tax-free state, it is. And also there are famous universities like University of Texas, and also Texas A&M and the College Station also is not very far. So he's preaching in 4 or 5 universities now. Now he and his wife are like fully devoted to this. You will see they're stinking rich, their money is there, handsome body is there, abundant opulences are there for enjoying, but they're not enjoying, they're engaging in Krishna service. So when I saw this, I thought this is like spiritual world. Huh? Whatever is happening in spiritual world, it's not that you have to wait for death to come and then you go there and see. You can see right here and now. Similarly, you will find who is serving Krishna. If you see in ISKCON, some of the most educated and intellectual people are serving Krishna, you will see. Sadhaputta Prabhu, he shook up the scientists of his times. He'll actually, after he came to Krishna consciousness, he must have been 20, 25 years in our movement, probably. He was a Prabhupada's disciple, young scientist. He is a late disciple of Prabhupada, probably by 75, 76 he must have taken initiation, I think. So in about 20, 25 years, he has written, hundreds of books and thousands of articles. Now there is an entire website. Even today, many scientists are reading to understand the connection between science and spirituality. Such amazing researches he did. So, and also T.D. Singh, who became Swarup Damodar Goswami Maharaj, like that. So, you will find that in the material world also, you find some of the greatest kings renounce everything to attain the absolute truth. Like you say Buddha, for example, at a young age, when he had a wife and family and everything, he renounced everything and went to the renounced order. Correct, no? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was 24 years old, he took sannyas, if you see. In fact, he had a very good-looking wife, was very submissive, and he had a very happy family also. Why we have to know this? Because some people think that maybe he was frustrated in family, so he took sannyas. People think like that. Not only that, he had a widowed mother. So which man in this world will leave behind a widowed mother and a wife who is good looking, with submissive wife, cooperative wife, happy family? And somebody may say, maybe family was a good family, but in profession he must have fumbled, they may say. No. He had at one point of time, he led a civil disobedience movement against the Mughal king who was stopping Sankirtan movement. So Lord Chaitanya decided to protest against it. He said, we are not harming you. What's wrong if we are doing Sankirtan? So he gathered thousands and thousands of people of Navadvip. Several thousand people taking fire torches in the evening followed him to the home of Kazi. And what to speak of giving permission, Kazi became friendly with him after hearing the dialogue from him. There is a tree there, champa tree and neem tree. They're going from the same route. There's a tree. So you will see that there. In that place, even today, when Muslims see Sankirtan coming, they fold their palms and they respect, even today, in that locality. So he was politically very successful also. And he was very handsome also. And he was a very prominent teacher of Nyaya Shastra. In the entire Navadvip, where there used to be Chatushpatis, where teachers used to teach under the trees, he had the maximum students. He was like a moon surrounded by stars. He was a famous teacher, politically successful, had a good-looking wife and submissive wife, and a loving mother, very happy family and successful family. At that time, he renounced everything and took sannyas. You can see that. So, you will see that the spiritual world is characterized by pure living entities, and in the material world, the living entities are impure because of having become contaminated by the exploitative mentality. See, in this world, when two living beings interact, when does the problem arise? If you observe, like if somebody is a superior, somebody is subordinate, for example. If the superior neglects the needs of the subordinate, or if the superior makes expectations of the subordinate which are difficult for the subordinate to fulfill, or the superior attacks the subordinate by talking ill of him, or gossiping about him, or rumor mongering about him, or taking away the rights of the subordinate, or if each of these behaviors I am telling you, you can observe this is what causes problem in the world, correct? No? Or the superior is exploiting the subordinate's resources without the permission of the subordinate. So these are problems which are created. So therefore, in this world, you will see these mentalities, what I am talking about. It can happen between superior subordinate, can happen between equal people also living entities. And yesterday I was giving the example of the mosquito. I was telling you that mosquito comes and sits behind and inserts his needle and sucks blood from you, and also causes malaria to you. That means he causes harm to you and he benefits from you. Benefiting from you means he's exploiting you. And then he's harming you also. And he goes away. He doesn't get harmed by you. When you beat it by the time, it's gone already. So you can't take any action also. Now this is not only to do with the mosquito. You will also see from the amongst the human beings why people are hating commercialism. Because commercialism is all about packaging very attractively in a way to cheat your eyes, and then empty your pocket. And then when you are the receiver of the end product, when you try to enjoy the product, you are cheated. It is harmful to you. So, like when I went to America, I wanted coconut water there. So they brought a big packed, coconut thing. I asked, show me the date, manufacturing date. They were searching for it, they couldn't find it. I said, how in America you cannot find the manufacturing date? Call the company, find out. And they found out it was packed 1.5 years ago. So then I said, see, I asked you for a fresh tender coconut, which is just now taken from the tree. And if you cut it and give it, I can take it, and I can't take the old one. No, Prabhuji, it is neatly packed. It's kept in fridge. No problem. Yeah. So actually they think that if you know the contents of a product, then it is safe. But little do they know the processing also matters. Preservation also matters. Many other things harm the body. Therefore, because they are ignorant about all these things, that is why you will find in the long run their bodies give so many complications. Because in the Vedic life, that's why you will find the Vedas actually go to the root of the problem. Whenever. So, therefore, you will find in the material world, people fear one another. People fear the commercial fellow should not loot my pocket. Even if somebody says, buy one, get two free. You have seen that? Yes. They look like benefiting you, correct now? They say, okay, how much is that one? They will say it's 1,000 rupees. But actually it is worth only 300 rupees. So buy one, get two free. They fitted it in 900 rupees. And they took how much from you? 100 extra from you. Correct now? So this is what they... So therefore people in this world cannot live peacefully. They are always fearful. Man and man, family and family. Even relatives fear one another. Like the giant families are all dismantled nowadays. Why? Because the man at the top was completely selfless, sacrificing, unassuming, God-fearing, living a life of character and values, and everybody trusted him. But when that person becomes old, the big turban wala, when he gets old, when he moves out of the scene, many of the wives will bite the ears of the husbands. They will say, अपना अपना लेकर हम निकालेंगे, निकल जाएंगे इधर से. You cannot trust your brothers because even an elder brother exploits younger brother. Sometimes even brothers, equal brothers also exploit one another in this world. Motivated by their wives sometimes. So they can become very, very cruel. Just like Kauravas exploited the Pandavas. Very similar to that. Similar thing, story continues even today. Therefore, everybody fills their pocket and then pushes off. Where is joint family anymore? Every family is a nuclear family. Man can pride himself that you are sending rocket to other planets, but he cannot live together with his brother. That is the situation of the modern man. Pathetic it is. He cannot live with his wife. He cannot live with his brother, and he cannot maintain a sweet relation even with the blood relatives, what to speak of others. So, therefore, one very famous scientist made a statement. We are economic giants, he said, but we are emotional infants. Emotional infants. We may be economic giant. Another fellow, Martin Luther King, made another statement. He said, guided missiles and misguided men. He said very meaningful statements. They may have very guided missiles, but men are themselves misguided in their lives. So the material world is compared to smoke. Spiritual world is compared to fire. And the material world is compared to nails. Spiritual world is compared to flesh. Because flesh is Chetan and the nails are dead. Like here, if you pinch, somebody feels pain. If you pinch in the hair, you don't feel pain. The nail or the hair like that. So material world is compared to dead jada. Spiritual world is Chetan. Everyone is very conscious in the spiritual world. So similar material world is compared to smoke and spiritual world to fire. So smoke troubles and fire serves. Correct, no? So for example, if you have a chula, stove, you are putting the firewood. So if the fire is glowing brilliantly, then that fire serves. Correct, no? Fire is able to cook the food and everything. But if there is smoke that enters your nose and eyes and causes only trouble like that. So we don't want trouble. So what you are supposed to do in case if there smoke is coming, what would you do? Okay, now you start the chola. It starts with a like that. A lot of smoke is coming. What will you do?
Ignite.
Of course, you have ignited it already. Actually, because you ignited only, smoke is also coming. Yeah, little fire is there, but mostly smoke. 70% smoke is coming. What you will do? Yeah. So when you take a fan and do like this, the smoke spreads all over the house. All over everybody shouting at you, hey, what's happening in the kitchen? So much smoke is coming, our eyes are burning. When it goes into the nose and eyes, everybody shouting at you. When you spread the smoke, what else will you do? Yeah? Increase the fire. How will you increase the fire? Yeah? Wood, you have to put more wood. If you put more wood, burn more smoke.
Blowing the air.
Blowing the air. Father, they have funkni, they have. Yeah, long. So, and that funkni you have, that you should put it on the smoke and like that you should blow,
Yes.
or you should put it on the fire and blow it.
Fire.
Let us take a vote. How many of you say we should put it on the smoke and blow it so that smoke will go away? Or should we put it inside that this thing wherever there is fire and you blow it on the fire? Which one we should do?
On the fire.
How many of you say second one? How many of you say first one? Some of them are doubtful, I think. How many of you are not very sure? You're not, because in village you're not. Now everybody has gas cylinder now. Gas stove. In America, I gave gas cylinder example. People say we don't know what is gas cylinder. They have pipe. Electric one and also pipe they have. Gas pipe they have. Yeah. Everybody says gas stove. So, in America even, what do you call it? Many children don't know many of the things which come from the fields and all. They are not aware. I'm giving examples. Yeah. Like, I asked a boy, where does mango juice come from? He said, from fruity, he says. And he has drank only fruity. He has seen only fruity packet. Then I showed a picture of a mango. You have seen this? Yeah, in fruity cover we see that. In the fruity they put this cover. I asked him, where does this come from? He said, I'll check with my mom. There are many of them are not even. That's why nowadays schools are taking them for field visit to show that something called as a cow exists, something called as mangoes exist. They have to be seen sometimes. So sometimes we are so far away, taken away from nature, we don't even know where things come from. Correct now. So in villages, it's very common. They have a funkni blower. They put it right on the fire. Continuously, you should blow. Then the fire starts becoming brilliant. And then immediately smoke will be deleted. Immediately. It will be finished. And the fire becomes very grown up. Similarly, that Narada boy was told by Bhaktivedantas that material world is like smoke, spiritual world is like fire. So my dear boy, what you should do, if you blow on the smoke, it will spread everywhere. And you will be in trouble, others will be in trouble. But if you blow on the fire, the smoke will be finished. Similarly, in your life, you should focus on spiritual life. Don't worry about material life. Material life will easily follow. Just like this one, I showed you here, right now. When you move the hand, the shadow follows. Similarly, if your spiritual life is taken care very strongly, material life will become simplified. It will become very easy. Just like you have a horse cart, you have seen that? If you put horse before the cart and the horse is running, do you have to bother about the cart? That will follow or not? But imagine you put the cart first and put the horse behind. And then sit in the cart and hope that the cart will move. It's not going to move because horse is just relaxing behind. If you give Krishna consciousness second priority and you give first priority to material life, that is like putting the cart before the horse. And you are wondering why cart is not going. Sometimes imagine you get down from the cart a little bit, you pull it and hope that it will go. It will not go. Wherever you pull it, that much only it will remain. Therefore, people work very hard in material life and still they find that they are not happy because they are just pulling the cart and not using the horse. But you put the horse first means put Krishna consciousness first. You say that in chanting 16 rounds, following for related principles, studying Prabhupada books, coming to the classes, coming in association of devotees. When you do these things, you find that material life becomes very simple. Everything follows it very easily. So some boys fear that if I become serious in spiritual life, will it not kill my material ambitions? I want to become this, I want to become that. So you have to decide what you are looking for in life. Actually, you can, if it is there in your destiny, that you have to flourish. Like Vivek Mindra, for example. He left everything and went to ISKCON temple, and almost 6 7 years he lived in the temple. I heard. He lived in the temple. The brahmachari. Now somebody may say you are a failure in life. Somebody may say you left everything, you shaved up. But if it is written in your takdir that you are going to be materially very affluent and successful, now, after 5 6 years of training in the ashram, when he came out, the training became more helpful also for him. Then he went on to become bada business. He started. Now he is like, he was telling me when he came to Pune, every car that's moving in the street, every plane that flies, they have a contract with me. He said, yeah, he is in contract with all the companies in India. You name a company and they have contract with him. He is the one. If you see how many million you will see, how many million people learn from him about business. One of his goals is to make India like super country in business. Especially he's talking about entrepreneurship. That's his very expertise. He says that we don't have to slog in the companies. And it is very true, because even children also in our Gurukula, 3 hours education is enough for them daily. But how many hours schools, if you see, they will go in the morning and come in the evening. So many things they learn which are useless actually. So we give 3 hour education of mundane education, and we give other 3 4 hours spiritual part we are giving in our Gurukul like that. Same with working also. You don't have to work 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours a day to earn your livelihood. So he is telling many entrepreneurship. If you see his very little simple things you do, you can make money. And in America, I met one gentleman working with a bank, very famous bank there. He says he works only 1 hour. And the rest of the time he's in ISKCON temple. He's the president of a temple. In one of the temples. He's a Delaware. He's the president of the Delaware temple. And he says only 1 hour. He's about 35 now. He told the company several times, I want to resign. They are not allowing him. They say that you are so smart, you can tackle the people very nicely. All people respect him very much in the company. He's like Yudhishthira Maharaj. So when he goes to the company, 1 hour only, he does meetings and everything, and he goes back, and the rest of the work the other guys do. So he told me that it was not so comfortable in the early stage. He said that I had to work 8 10 hours in the beginning, but gradually I reduced my work. He said, I made it 6 hours, 5 hours. Now I know what is to be done. I know exactly when I go to company, whom to talk to what. So he gives direction, and the ship is going in the right direction, and the bank is making a lot of profits through him. So they know that he has got that knack. So he's able to say, because he's a devotee, wonderful devotee, doing a lot of programs, preaching. He has got 50 Westerners coming to his temple regularly. I had gone on a Sunday there. So why I'm telling you, if you put the horse before the cart, you will see that the life goes very smooth. And also your material greed will reduce. Somebody may flourish like Vivek Mindra, I told you. And it's not the case with everybody. For example, if you stop spiritual life and you take material life to become like him, you may end up not becoming great in material life and spiritual life. At the end of the life, you feel yourself like a stupid. I wasted so much time. There are a good number of people I know who have slogged in material life a lot and who didn't make anything in material life. And there are many people I also know who did very little in material life and they flourished like anything. How many of you have seen this? Correct? Yeah. Like our Revatipati Prabhu was in the hostel. He would get 10 out of 10 in IIT Kharagpur. He would never study. Boys have never seen him with book, they are saying. But even now, you give any ISKCON book to him, he reads diagonally, he reads. He's one of the fastest reader. Many of the bulky books and all he finishes in 4 hours. He's a very fast reader, very fast grasper, and he can hold the information also. He is given a very high IQ like that. There are people like that. So you will see that, that's another boy who told me, Prabhuji, you give me 3 months to study, I will get the same marks, he said. You can be confident because he is confident that he can't, because that is the way everybody's IQ is designed. And I'm not telling you to discourage you, but it is a fact that some people are told not to appear in IIT exam at all, correct? No? Because the tuition centers will tell you what exam you should appear in, what you should try and what you should not try. Do you think they are discouraging you? They know your competence, capacity and everything that you do. Therefore, in material life, you will not be able to change your material life appreciably despite hard work, because your machine is already designed and given to you. Luna is a Luna, Maruti is a Maruti, Benz is a Benz. You cannot change their speed appreciably. You can change a little bit, but not much. But spiritually, your progress cannot be checked by anything. Because if you see spiritually, poor people have become very advanced devotees. Rich people have become advanced devotees. Ugly people like Kubja, she became attractive by her seva bhava. You will see that. Yeah, the beautiful gopis, they also had great devotion. Whether you are beautiful or you are ugly, you are rich or you are poor, what is your situation in society? Whether you have big aristocratic relatives surrounding you or you are completely anath, all alone. Pandavas were driven to the jungle, their wife was insulted, they had nothing in their hands, but still they became Krishna's closest friends. You will see that. So in spiritual life, you don't need any big mental qualification to do spiritual life. Any Tom, Dick, and Harry can consider taking the spiritual life seriously, and that's the biggest plus point in spiritual life. And the progress in spiritual life, nobody can check it, nobody can delete it, nobody can deplete it. It goes with you even beyond death also. So one should consider these things, and the spirit's progress is a real progress, and the material progress is illusory progress, because material progress is appearing to be progress for you. At the time of death, you will see, when you leave behind everything and go, then you will wonder, where is that progress? Just like the story of the Sisyphus, he takes the boulder to the top of the mountain, and when he leaves it, it just comes gliding down. Again, he would take it up, gliding down. And this was a punishment given to him by one of the kings in Greek. Greek king. So imagine taking a boulder to the top of the mountain and leaving it, repeatedly doing that. Is it not a stupid activity? But he had to do that as a punishment given by the king. Similarly, in material life, you see that we grow up from childhood to boyhood to youth, we grow in academic degrees, and then we grow in career prospects. You grow, and then when you got certain time, somebody suddenly doctor says you have cancer, or you have got some brain tumor, or you have got some kidney failure. Something happens, either it's a disease or it's an accident or old age comes. As sure as death, as we say. When death comes, we leave behind everything and go. It's like coming back to zero again. So one has to see what is temporary, what is permanent, what is short-lived, and what is long-lasting. What is worthy of pursuit, what is not worthy of pursuit. So then what is smoke and what is fire? One should be able to see this. So when we can clearly see these things, the clarity comes by study of scriptures. Scriptures give you viveka buddhi. And one shouldn't waste a moment in life. Time is very precious, life is very short. So when one is young, hale and healthy, there is one verse, Etahi Purushasya Vishnu Padopasarpanam. Prahlad Maharaj says that when you are young, healthy, intelligent, you study the scriptures, awaken yourself, then make your life happy, even now. And then as you progress in old age, because green bamboo can be bent, not a dry bamboo. A dry bamboo, if you bend, what will happen? It will break. Green bamboo bends. Like that, when you're young, you can actually mold your life nicely, like which you all are doing now. When you're coming for the programs, hearing the morning classes, and taking part in chanting and everything. Actually, Krishna consciousness is not deprivation or self-denial. In Krishna consciousness, neither do you indulge in sense gratification, nor you deny sense gratification. We sanctify sense gratification. You will see that, like it's not that you are eating, all day fasting and eating a carrot at night. You're eating good prasad, you are eating. We have chanting, we have dancing, we have prasad, we have association of saintly devotees. And we refrain from those activities which are harmful to the system, to the body, mind, soul. And we agree to accept those things which are sanctioned by the Lord. It's an enlightened enjoyment. It is not a deprivation of enjoyment. So understanding the glory of Krishna conscious lifestyle, we should take it in a very serious spirit, and also connect as many people as possible within the span of life that we have. So going from smoke to fire is the goal of life. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. So we saw the spiritual world in the beginning of the talk today, the beautiful video. So that going there is actually the goal of life, from where we have come from. And that's our home where we have to return. Just like a bird wandering in the sky is always an anxiety, he may be in danger. But when he comes to his nest, the bird is very happy. The spiritual world is like the nest. And we are like a roaming bird now in the material world, suffering. Now it's time now. I have to go to join the class. 5 minutes I will take some discussion by any of you would like to say.
Questions?
So if somebody doesn't have a question, they can say a reflection or a point from the class also. Yeah. Anybody? Yeah.
Question related to the class. I want to know आप भागवत में पढ़ते हैं राज चक्र के बारे में, जैसे कि वो वैष्णव थे और लास्ट में आकर के उनको कर्ज मिला पार्वती माता से, उन्होंने उनको सच करा। उसके बाद फिर उनको वृत्तासुर के में जन्म लेना पड़ा उनको। तो व्हाट इज द क्वालिटी दैट ही लैक्स और हम अपना उद्धार कैसे कर सकते हैं?
What is the quality he lacked due to which he became a demon?
Yes.
Okay. So Chitraketu became a disciple of Narada.
Yeah.
And he also was given a gift of post as a king of the Vidyadhara Loka. So he was a human being, but he was taken to heaven and he was given the Vidyadhara Loka kingship, rulership. And he became a great devotee of Lord Sankarshan. And he got the darshan also of the Lord. Now when you are getting darshan of the Lord, disciple of Narada Muni, king of a higher planet, so these things naturally go to our head. We tend to become proud. We can't say that he was too much proud or something like that. But one thing he did when he was going in the sky in a skyway, he was doing chanting and Sankirtan he was doing, along with the Vidyadharis from the planet. At that time he saw Shiva was sitting and giving a lecture on Vairagya while keeping Parvati on his lap. So he said that, Angikrute, he says that you are giving a talk on Vairagya to the Siddhas who are all sitting in your class. Even Narada was sitting also. And at the same time, you are keeping your wife on your lap. What will the people think? Prakrito yatha, he said. Prakrito means your behavior is like that of a conditioned soul. You are behaving like that. Like that when he said that, now some boys asked me, was it not a mistake on the part of Shiva? Now actually I don't know whether how many of you have seen, if you see Rama Pattabhishekam, traditional picture by Ravi Verma, you will find Sita sitting on the lap of Rama. In the traditional Vedic times, for a wife to sit on the lap of a husband was not considered a very big mistake or something like that. Even when others are present in the house, relatives are present, because the sex life was not given so much importance in the Vedic times. The kind of loving relationships, so those things, dealing with people, respect for elders, all those things were given. In a casual moment, when the wife is sitting on the lap of the husband, therefore when Rama is keeping Sita on the lap, you find this side Lakshman, behind Bharat, the Shatrughna fanning. Still Pattabhishek is keeping her. That's not considered. Now it will be considered like sexy. And it gives them, because sex is so much aggravated now. Yeah. Actually, according to Vedas, the daughter is kept here and wife is kept here. Because daughter is kept here, you catch her and give her in Kanyadan. And wife is kept here. So keeping some woman on this lap means she is your Bharya and your Bharta, like that. That is a very Vedic thing. It's not a very seriously wrong thing or something. Number one. Number two, Narada Muni is his guru sitting there. He is not criticizing. So that's what Parvati said. Even your Guruji is sitting here. You are not, he is not criticizing. Brahma is not criticizing. And you think you are posted yourself as a Dandadhara, like a holder of the stick, and you are criticizing Shiva like this. So she told him, therefore, because of your critical mentality, I curse you, my son, to become a demon and then learn the lesson and then you come back to your normal position, like that, she said. So he came down from the plane, bowed down to her and accepted that. Now, this is with respect to whether he deserves that or not. Some people say that, okay, she could have a little bit chastised him and left him. Now, why did she give him a demon's body? Nothing happens in the life of a devotee without Lord's will. The Lord had a desire to accelerate his returning back to Godhead. Sometimes what happens, you have everything in devotion service but not लगन नहीं है. अभी हम भक्ति में सब कुछ है हमारे पास, किताब भी है, भक्त भी है, प्रसाद भी है, सब कुछ है, लेकिन आगे बढ़ने के लिए पुश नहीं है. What the Lord does sometimes, he gives a pinch to the devotee. Like mother wants to give sweet rice to a child. She's saying, Beta, uto, sweet rice hai. And she turns to the other side and goes to sleep. Mother gives a pinch. Chimti dene se wo jag jata hai. And put sweet rice in the mouth. When she puts sweet rice, the child is very happy. Oh, this is very nice. So she wakes up and gives sweet rice. Similarly, Lord sometimes gives a jerk to a devotee and he becomes a demon. Then he becomes a very fired up devotee. That life he goes back. Same thing with Gajendra also. Same thing with Bharat Maharaj also. So Bhagavatam gives extreme examples of pure devotees becoming like that. And then through them we also learn a lesson, I should be careful. Because each of them teach you. Like he is teaching you not to have the audacity to correct great souls. That's what Chitraketu teaches. Bharat Maharaj teaches us not to be complacent and careless and casual in spiritual life. You learn that. Gajendra, you learn not to fall short in etiquettes of guest reception. So each of them teaches some important lesson like that. All right?
Hold out. But what I have read, what I have understood that when he met the Shivji and Parvati, so he was saying that he was praising to the Shivji.
Correct. No, even before also I praised.
Praising to the Shivji.
Correct.
So and after that he accepted and apologized for that when Parvati caused her.
Actually, why he praised again? He wanted to tell Parvati that, Madam, don't be affected. Don't feel that I offended him. I have no enmity with him. He is like my friend because both are disciples. Both are actually devotees of the same Lord, Sankarshan. Shiva's worshipable deity is Sankarshan. He also worshipping Sankarshan. It's like two Hare Krishna devotees meeting. It's like that. So when he told her, she also became pacified. So that he clarified to her so that she will not have pain in the heart. Therefore he clarified. But he accepted the punishment. Even all of us have to be very careful in our dealings with one another, not offend anybody, not become proud of our accomplishments. So the many Bhagavatam teaches many lessons like that. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Let's take one question. You can just give some instructions to all of that. In the class, we're making point of the need for cultivating Vivek Buddhi. Only then we can see the difference and stay focused. So, because all of them are working, they're working in IT companies here. So maybe, we have a culture of, this many hours they should eat in a week, that kind of thing. So to quantify that, how much time in a week they should spend time in reading.
I will suggest you one idea. What we are doing in Hyderabad. We have one devotee called Taran Prabhu. He has 60 boys with him. So the 60 boys include 3 categories. Senior most, and then senior, and then junior like that. So what he does, senior most boys are able to come at 7. 7 to 7:30, he reads the Bhagavatam section, he reads. Then 7:30 to 8, the second level boys, they come. And with them he reads teachings of Queen Kunti. And then 8 to 8:30, very young boys, upcoming boys. With them he reads the smaller books, like that. This is an everyday thing, 1.5 hours. And he told me that Prabhuji, boys on their own will not read. And they don't get time. Somehow or other life becomes very busy. But if there is a fixed time, boys are ready to come in a day. And they want help from top. If somebody can help them to read with them, they are ready to read. So what he does, they have a fixed policy that one boy will read a para and he only has to explain what he understood. And then Prabhuji will add to that. Then second boy reads second para. And they keep almost like 75-80% is reading. Only 20-25% is little discussion Prabhuji will do. And if anybody else want to add, they will add. And he says it's a very progressive group. And he says now, then for example, every day half an hour means weekly how much it comes to? 3.5 hours. And apart from that also, Saturday they have longer duration. Every day half an hour, Saturday 1.5 hours they have. So that way it becomes 5-6 hours in a week. And boys are very healthy in spiritual life. They have no issues at all. Otherwise, what happens? The IT life dries up completely. It just sucks your blood. And there is no end to the computer. Our association with computer is difficult to cut. I saw one cartoon, your wife is calling husband, he's not going. So, she's catching him by the leg and pulling, and this fellow is unable to come from the computer table. He's keeping hand here and both legs are in the wife's hand, she's pulling him. Put a picture. He's like glued to the screen. So, now anyway they have to be glued to the screen, let them be glued to the Zoom. And they can hear. They will take out time, surely. So what I'm doing in US, US West Coast, I found out that 9 to 9:30 is a good time for the West Coast there. And for me, it's 9:30 a.m. in the morning on Sunday. So I'm going to start one series for the West Coast people. They told me that 9 to 9:30 is a very good time. That's the time some of them retire. Company thing, everything gets over. So similarly, you have to find out 3 groups you make it, very senior and second level and third level. Find out the time suitability for them. Either you, actually what he also does, Sarvamana Prabhu, he can't handle all of them all the time because he has no time also. So he and Achyuta Gopal Prabhu, they kind of, what do you call it, they pair up. One day he does and some days he does like that. Yeah. If you have 2-3 devotees like you, seniors, who are ready to help you out with this reading program, it can be brahmacharis or it can be very senior boys also. Who is very evolved and realized more advanced in spiritual life. They should be able to inspire the boys and give quality input. That, like we say, reading between the lines in line with Prabhupada. Like that. Not going here and there, talking rubbish. They should be able to exactly help them get that Shraddha by reading of the purports. You identify who can do that and you can have a team. I'll tell you, it will make a miracle, I can tell you. Within 1 or 2 months, boys will be jumping. Because the philosophy goes in and sinks in the heart, immediately eyes are, it's like switching on a tube light in a dark room. You get very awakened, yeah. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki